I've been training to get athletic and aesthetic and build muscle ever since I was 14 years old, and it wasn't until about 19 years old when I actually started training properly. I've wasted about 5+ years of my time training, and I don't want that to happen to y'all. So in this video, I'm gonna break it down for y'all. I'm gonna give y'all the keys that way you don't waste any time training and that you can get the best results, so you can build muscle, get athletic, and get aesthetic, and just get lean and start looking good and feeling good as fuck. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the training, diet, recovery, and mindset that you need to have as a beginner to get the best results possible and get athletic, aesthetic, build muscle, get lean, all that, and just really achieve your physical body goals. Simple as that. So without further ado, let's get into the video. A quick disclaimer, by the way, I did make a free training program so that way you guys actually have something to apply in this video. I'm not just gonna like tell you what to do and be like, all right, bye, dooski. No, I'm actually gonna give you concrete things that you can do and you can apply. So just click the top link in the description below if you want that, if you don't want to listen to me for the rest of this video. But I recommend to keep watching so that you get the nuance, that you get the details, and you actually get the most out of the program that I made for y'all. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the training. So the first thing we're gonna go over with the beginner fitness program is gonna be training. So the first thing when it comes to training is gonna be strength, okay? Strength is gonna be the #1 key when it comes to your training. But you don't wanna just be strength training like a normal nigga, okay? Because let me tell you, that shit does not work. You don't wanna go in the gym and be doing high reps. You actually wanna be doing low reps. But specifically, you wanna be doing low reps with compound exercises. So that means 3 to 5 reps for, 3 to 5 sets for the bigger movements. This is gonna be stuff like power cleans, squats, bench press, deadlifts if you do that. And the reason why you wanna do this is because these are the exercises that utilize the most muscles, meaning that you can push the most weight, meaning that you can get the most strong with this. So 3 to 5 rep range for compound lifts. Then for smaller isolation movements, like if you're doing bicep curls, if you're doing tricep extensions, if you're doing like dumbbell shoulder press, you wanna be working in the 6 to 10 rep range. This way you're still getting strong all around, but you're also able to build some muscle in the process. And here's the truth, y'all. You'll hear a lot of stuff online about like, oh, for hypertrophy, for muscle growth, if you wanna grow a lot, then you wanna go and you wanna do the 8 to 12 rep range. And look, that works if you're on steroids, if you're trying to be an unathletic bodybuilder that has a bulky ass whale blubber physique. Look, if you're watching this video, I know you don't want that. Chances are you want to get big, but you don't want to be too big. You want to be like, look strong and lean, but you also want to be athletic. You still want to be able to run. You want to be able to jump. You want to be able to play whatever sport it is that you do. You still want to be a functional, capable human being. And you simply don't get that when you go for these higher rep ranges where you just focus on muscle growth. If you actually want to get real results that make you look athletic and aesthetic, you need to train for strength, because strength actually does build muscle, and strength also allows you to have the potential to build muscle. So let me break it down for you. So think about it this way real quick. Let's say that there's a dude in the gym who goes in and he can only bench 135 for 5. What he can do from there is then, he could start repping out 100 pounds for, 10 reps and whatnot, and doing the whole muscle hypertrophy thing. Or he could keep building his strength. He goes from doing 135 for 5 to being able to do 225 for 5 after like several months and whatnot. Now, let's say he does want to just strictly focus on building muscle. Well, now he can bench 185 for 10 reps, and now he can build way more muscle. So regardless of where you start, you always want to focus on strength first, because that gives you a greater potential to gain muscle if that's your only goal. Get what I'm saying? I know you get what I'm saying. And yeah, just get strong, okay? Just get strong. And the key with strength is that it requires recovery. You want to make sure that you recover in between each session. So ideally, you only want to train about 2 to 4 times per week. If you're training like 2 or 3 times a week, then you can do a full body split. And if you're doing 4 times a week, then you could do a full body split where you go every other day, 4 days out of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. But I would recommend just doing an upper lower split, in which you go like Monday, Tuesday, upper lower, and then Thursday, Friday, upper lower. And then you got way more rest in between. So that's how you should split it up, because here's the thing with strength training, it's like diminishing returns. After strength training, after, you hit the muscle and whatnot, you're not really going to get that much benefit from just continually going. So you want to make sure that you rest and recover. And we're going to get into the recovery aspect of it in this video later. The next thing you want to focus on in your training is going to be speed. So speed is just essential if you want to be athletic. Speed kills in every single sport, whether it's boxing, whether it's track or sprinting, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball. Speed kills. And when you combine that with having a base of strength, now you're lethal. Now you're actually dangerous. So the key to speed is real simple, okay? Every time that you train for speed, you want to focus on decreasing your time. And for a lot of people, this is going to be pretty hard because you're not really able to time yourself because you don't want to hold a stopwatch and then run at the same time because that can be kind of annoying. You probably don't have the money in order to get one of those devices where it just measures your time as you run, like where you set it up on one end and set it up at the finish. Chances are you don't have that. So what you actually want to do is you want to find a training partner. And what a training partner allows you to do is it actually forces you to go harder. It forces you to push yourself because you're racing against someone. Now, instead of just racing against some imaginary figure, instead of just racing against yourself and trying to, be better than last time, you actually have someone to chase after, or you have someone to stay ahead of. So it gives you way more motivation and you're going to be way more likely to run faster because of that. Like when I was playing football at Miami, when I would race against people, it would force me to go faster because I would be competing. And that's another thing, is that competition brings the best out of you. So I would be competing against my teammates and whatnot, and I'd be trying to run faster. I'd be trying to get ahead of them, and they'd be trying to get ahead of me. So it was like iron sharpening iron. Everyone would get better. So you want to make sure that you have a training partner when you're training speed. That way you have more motivation to run faster. Now, when it comes to training for speed, it's real simple. You only want to train about 2 to 3 times a week, and you either want to do 2 days at maximum sprint intensity, or you want to do 3 days where like 2 days are maximum sprint intensity and 1 day is more like a conditioning day, or like like longer distance day, if your goal is just speed. And the reason why you want to do this is because when it comes to speed, you want your body to remember the adaptations you're making. You don't want to go out there and just run a whole bunch of reps, but as you gradually go off, the quality of the reps taper and you're just like freaking chugging along. You're just like about to collapse while running. No, you want your body, you want to be performing these reps that you do, these speed training reps, at the maximum quality, the maximum intensity. You want to run as fast as possible for about 3 to 4 reps. So that way your body remembers how it feels to run that fast and your body adapts to that. So that way the next time you go out, your body remembers, oh, we ran that fast last time. Let's try to run that fast or even faster this time. If you do a whole bunch of reps, your body is going to remember a bunch of shitty reps, and because of that, it's just going to be harder to get faster. As the session goes on, the quality of reps will decrease. So let me break it down for you real quick. So there's a couple ways to train speed. Acceleration. This is like the beginning part of, when you're running. It's the block start, and acceleration is super important. It's about how quick you can get out of the blocks. And you really want to focus on this, I would say at least once per week. You want to do about 6 to 10 reps of 10 to 40 meters. So ideally, the way I personally split it up is like right now, I do 2 reps of 10-meter sprints, 2 reps of 20-meter sprints, and then 2 reps of 40-meter sprints. And that's literally all I do for my acceleration days. And that way I get high quality reps while still making gains. Next is max speed. This is going to be in the in the distance range from 50 to 120 meters. And you want to work with reps of about 3 to 6. Now, the longer the sprint, let's say you're doing a 100 meter or 120 meter sprint, you want to do lower reps. You want to do 3 reps. If you're doing like 50 meter sprints, then you want to do higher reps, maybe go up to 5 or 6 reps. So you see, it's almost like an inverse relationship. The shorter the distance, the more reps you can do. The longer the distance, the less reps you can do. Oh my gosh, this board is getting crazy. And then the same thing applies to endurance. With the endurance, this is going to be working more just like maintaining that top end speed. So from 120 meters to 250 meters is going to be your general range for endurance work. And you want to just do 3 to 4 reps because that's where you're going to get the most high quality work from. Now, let's say you want to do something like conditioning. You're trying to get just like your general, you just want to be able to breathe longer. You want to have better endurance, better cardio, whether that be in football, basketball, boxing, whatever it be. Now, this is when you want to do way more reps. So you want to do about 10 to 20 reps of 50 to 100 meters with a little bit of rest in between. The way we used to do it back in football is that you would do 3 sets of 6 reps, 6 reps of 50-meter sprints. So you rest about 30 seconds in between each rep, and then you would rest 2 minutes in between each set. And that'll get you fucking right. Let me tell you that. You can also do these things called tempos, and these are a bit different. This is where you go you would run a 400 meter, take a 1 minute break, then 300 meter, take a 1 minute break, 200 meter, take a 1 minute break, 100 meter, take a 1 minute break, and then you would rest for 10 minutes in between that set, and you would do 2 or 3 sets of that, and those are tempos. So when it comes to conditioning, it's way different. You're gonna be running way longer and way more as compared to just pure speed work where you do less reps, but at a higher quality, so that way you can get the most speed gains, this most speed adaptation essentially. And then the last thing about training that you want to remember is just when it comes to sports, okay? So essentially you just wanna make sure that you choose a sport, simple as that. So it could be basketball, football, baseball, boxing, tennis, whatever the sport is, choose a sport. And you wanna train, and you wanna ideally practice or train the sport at bare minimum 2 times a week. Ideally, you'd wanna do it like 5 to 6 times a week, because the more you practice a sport, the better you get at it. And usually with sports, you're able to practice it more often than you would be able to lift or to run. So you're just able to get more out of it. You're able to put in more reps. You're able to put in more time and care and attention into it. And most importantly, when you are training sports, when you are practicing sports, is just train with intention. And that's really the whole point of why I added in the sports section, is because when I was younger, I used to think, oh, I could just get big and I could get fast. But it's like, sure, you can do that, but if you have no reason to really do it, if there's no purpose behind it, if there's no intention behind it, it's pretty freaking useless and you'll lose a lot of motivation. But when you combine the strength training, you combine the speed training with also playing a sport, whether it be football, basketball, boxing, whatever it be, and now you're giving your training a purpose, it just makes it that much more important to you. It makes you much more motivated, and it gives you that much more discipline. And also, just remember, when you're practicing the sport, just train with intention. Always try to find something that you want to focus on. Like yesterday, I was boxing. The main thing I'm focused on is extending my jab right now. Literally just extending my jab, making sure that I turn the knuckles down and whatnot. So every single time that you go and train, and really just every single time that you're doing like strength or speed training, always have something that you're trying to focus on. If it's strength, be like, okay, I want to do more weight on squat, or I want to do more reps on bench press. If it's speed, okay, I want to decrease my time in the 100 meters. Okay, I just want to run with like better posture, with, you know, more relaxation. When it comes to sports, like what I was just saying, oh, I want to get better at throwing my hooks while keeping my elbows up. Oh, I want to get better at fully extending my jab, fully extending my straight shots, just stuff like that. Always train with intention. Always have something that you're trying to get better at, because when you go into it with an intention, you will get that intention. Seek and ye shall find. Simple. Anyways, moving on to the next section. All right, so the training section was pretty long. Now let's get into the diet section, which is gonna be a lot shorter. So diet is really simple. There's just a couple things that you wanna remember. Number one is single ingredient foods. If you just eat single ingredient foods, this is going to allow you to avoid toxicity. You're not going to be eating processed junk food, because here's the thing. No processed foods contain single ingredients. When you go and get cookies at the store, you're not just buying a cookie, you're buying like Red 40 and unbleached flour and rye flour and just added sugars and sucrose and sucralose and dextrose and high fructose corn syrup and all this wheat flour and all this shit that's not good for you, okay? Just focus on eating single ingredient foods. This means if you go to the store, you want a potato, get a potato. If you want chicken, just get chicken. If you want beef, just get beef. It's simple as that. Eat single ingredient foods. This is generally gonna be fruits, veggies, this is gonna be meats, this is gonna be stuff like complex carbs like rice, yams and whatnot. Just eat single ingredient foods and avoid processed foods, okay? So the main processed foods you wanna avoid is just gonna be added sugar, seed oils, and wheat/flour. Mainly if you're in America. If you're not in America, then you can probably eat wheat/flour. You know, RFK still ain't came through. We still gotta update our health regulations. So if you're in America, stay away from the wheat and flour. It's not good for you. So let me just put that right here. You just want to eliminate like seed oils, added sugar, and just wheat and flour, because this is just the stuff that's going to inflame your body. It has no nutritional value. It's going to make you sick, and it might actually end up killing you in the future. So just stay away from that and focus on single ingredient foods. Next thing you want to focus on is eat high protein, eat high fat. So protein, real simple. There's a lot of conflicting there's a lot of conflicting camps here on the internet. I just subscribe to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I weigh about 190, 195 right now. So I get about, I'm not gonna lie, I usually go over, because right now I'm currently eating a carnivore diet. So I get about 220 grams of protein or whatnot. And you can go over, you can go a bit under, but generally you wanna be in a 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And if you wanna fall right in the middle, then get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, that means you would get about 160 to 240 grams of protein, and you'll be good off that. And what this is gonna do, it's just gonna keep you full, it's gonna build muscle, it's gonna repair damaged tissues in your body, because remember, protein is the building block of muscle. It allows you to build and repair after you break down your muscle in the gym. When you go out and you sprint, when you go out and you train strength, when you go out and you play sports, you're breaking down muscles, you're breaking your body down. And in order for it to recover, you need to give it the proper nutrients from protein as well as fat. And fat is actually more important because fat is what makes your hormones work. If you don't get fat, if you're not eating stuff like eggs, if you're not eating stuff like butter, avocado, coconut oil, red meat, if you're not eating fatty fish, your hormones just aren't gonna work properly. Your junk probably ain't gonna work. Your testosterone is gonna go down. You're gonna start producing estrogen and become a female. It's not a good look, my boy. And I'm not trying to have that happen to you. So just make sure you eat high protein and high fat. And real quick, actually, I'm gonna just put this in the video. Here are some foods that you could eat. This is gonna be stuff like red meat. This is gonna be stuff like fish, eggs, avocado, butter, coconut oil, avocados. I feel like I already said avocados. But yeah, these are just gonna be some of the best foods that you can eat that's gonna provide the most nutrition for you. That's gonna be, just have the highest fat, the highest protein for you, and that's where all the nutrition is. And then you can fill out the rest of your diet with stuff like rice, yams, fruits, veggies. It ain't gotta be that complicated. Just make sure that you always prioritize your fat and your protein first, because those are the two most important macronutrients that you want to be getting in. Then the last thing about diet that I'll go over real quick is just fasting. And fasting is super simple. So fasting, all that is just eating for less time. It doesn't mean you eat less food. It just means that you eat less often. So in order to fast, simply put, skip breakfast, which means that you would end up having your first meal around noon, maybe 11 a.m., 1 p.m., whatever it be. And then you stop eating at sundown. And this means that you would stop eating around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever it be, different time zones and whatnot, different parts of the world. So it just depends on where you're at. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you only eat within that condensed eating window of about 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. because what this does is it allows your body to partition the resources better. When you do this, during the time when you're not eating, your body ends up producing stuff like HGH, human growth hormone, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which makes you smarter. It also ends up burning fat, lowering insulin. It just makes you super lean. So that way when you eat, your body is more primed to take in the nutrients that you eat. You're more primed to utilize the protein and the fat that you're taking in. So it's just gonna result in just a better body composition because your body's gonna be using the resources that it's getting properly in the best way possible. So yeah, just make sure that you fast, skip breakfast, stop eating once the sun goes down, and you'll be good. That's literally all you have to do. And don't get me wrong, it will take some time to get used to. You might be a little hangry for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, but then as time goes on and you start seeing the benefits, you'll be like, oh my God, I should have been doing this years ago. Because what you can actually do is during the time when you're fasted, when you haven't ate breakfast, you can get so much work done. Like right now, it's like 8:30 a.m. I've been up since 7 a.m. I went to this meeting, learned about YouTube, and now I'm filming this video. Now after this, I'm about to go box, I'm about to go to the gym, and then I'll break my fast around 12 p.m. And it's just the best way to be because it allows you to get all your important work done and then reward yourself with a meal. It's just the natural way of living. And then also, a last little tidbit that I'll throw in is Hani Hachibura, which just means to eat till 80% satisfaction. Something I used to deal with was just eating like stuff in my face and whatnot. I used to think like, oh, you gotta eat big to get big. That's a big fallacy. You don't need to eat big to get big. You need to get stronger if you want to get quote unquote bigger and have more muscle, because strength and muscle are related. Strength and muscle are correlated. The more strength you have, the more muscle you have. The more muscle you have, the stronger you are. In most cases, as long as you're not on the roids and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not juicing it, my boy. But yeah, so just remember Hani Hachibura, just eat till 80% satisfaction, because there's no need to be eating yourself into a food coma every day. There's no need to be eating and then feeling like you got to take a nap afterwards. That defeats the whole point. Remember, food is not some performance. Food is not meant to be this whole freaking act. Food is fuel for your body to go on and be great. Like, you really shouldn't put that much emphasis on food. Obviously, eat healthy and whatnot, and make sure that you're friggin' sustaining yourself and satisfying yourself. But people like to turn food into this performance. Like, people like to be like, make all these intricate designs. It's like, me personally, I don't give a fuck. Give me a plate of some beef and I'll eat that, and then I'll just move on with my day. I don't want to be freaking out here wasting all this time eating and whatnot. It's like there's bigger things to life than just food. Food is fuel. Don't try to turn it into some performance. Moving on to recovery. So again, the recovery section is gonna be real quick. Remember, recovery is how you regrow. So think of it like this way. You're shaping the clay in the gym, you know, then you start making indents and whatnot when you bring in the food. But then in order to actually solidify the pottery making, you need to throw it in the kiln, you need to fire it up. And that's essentially what recovery does. Recovery just solidifies all your gains. So then the only thing you really need to know about recovery is just sleep. You wanna be getting 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, obviously, everyone's needs are gonna be different. Me personally, I sleep about 8 hours a night and whatnot. And there's gonna be people out here that's like, oh, 8 hours a night, you ain't got time to sleep. If you live in America, you ain't got time to sleep, man. You gotta be out here making money. It's like, nigga, I don't give a fuck, okay? I would rather sleep and allow my brain to heal, allow my body to repair, and be able to just perform at my best. Because the way I look at sleep is that, sure, it might be taking time to sleep, but the quality of the hour of my waking hours that I get from sleeping are just gonna be way higher than if I was out here getting 6 or 5 hours of sleep. If I get more sleep, then the quality of the hours that I do have are gonna be worth more than if I had more time, but I'm still groggy and I'm doing everything slow and sluggish. It's not worth it. So just get 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. Just, you know, make sure that you go to sleep. Turn off the video games, turn off the freaking blue light, all the shit at night, turn off the Netflix, and just get ready for bed like an hour before bed. So let's say you wanna sleep from 10 to 6, start getting ready for bed at 9, and by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, you'll be ready to go to bed. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because y'all are grown-ups, I feel like. Y'all are at least mature people. Like, you should know how to go to bed. But yeah, just have a general sleep routine. Turn off the electronics, maybe make some tea, do some stretching before bed, read a book, journal a little bit about what you're gonna do tomorrow, do some meditation. You know, it's not that hard. Take a hot shower and boom, you'll be good. Yeah, and just remember, sleep, that's where everything gets repaired. Your mind gets repaired, body gets repaired, muscles grow and all that. So make sure that you get your sleep 7.5 to 9 hours. All right, so all this other stuff, this stuff is not as important as just getting sleep. If you, dang. The whiteboard is my If you remember anything from this recovery section, just remember to get your sleep. Everything after this is going to be pretty secondary. And the second thing we're going to talk about is sunlight. So sunlight is real simple. Sunlight gives you vitamin D, which is a hormone, which just allows your bones to be healthy. It allows your body to function properly. So you want to make sure that you're getting your vitamin D in. Ideally, you want to get about 30 to 60 minutes of sunlight per day. If you're white and pasty skin and you burn easily, then go out at the beginning of the day or the end of the day and get your sunlight at that time, and gradually work your way up to being able to go out at the peak times of the day from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Because I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm black. I can go out in the sun anytime I want and stay out for as long as I want, which is generally what I do. And if you're white, you gotta gradually, progressively overload. You gotta work your way up to that point where you can go outside for longer without getting burnt. So ideally, if you're a white person, start off with going out as soon as the sun rises and stay outside for 30 minutes. Once it starts getting super hot, then go back inside, and then just gradually start shifting this time out. The next day you go out at like 9 a.m. and then after that you stay out for 30 minutes, you go back inside at 9:30. The next day you go out at 10 a.m., go outside for 30 minutes, come back in at 10:30. Then you can start going out at 12 p.m. and you'll be fine. Your body would naturally adapt. And also when you start eating healthy and cutting out stuff like seed oils, just cutting out all the toxic refined carbs and shit, your body will actually be able to take sunlight way better and you won't get burnt as easily. So yeah, just make sure you get about 30 to 60 minutes of sunlight a day. The way I do this is I don't just go outside and I don't just be like this, like bathing. I actually used to do that back in the day, and like it just was kind of a waste of time. Instead, I go outside and I'll read a book, I'll go for a walk, I might even train outside. So just find a way to integrate it into your life. That way it doesn't it's not something that you have to add in. It's just something that's naturally part of your life. You just go outside, you train outside, you go outside, you read a book outside, you go outside, you eat outside, you go outside and walk outside. And then you get your sunlight, you'll get your vitamin D, your hormones will be good, and you'll look good as well, because everybody loves tan skin. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Next is gonna be stretching. I don't know if y'all can even read that, but stretching is gonna be the next way to recover. And this it releases tension in your muscles, it relieves stress as well. And it's just a good way to protect your body and whatnot, and also make yourself more flexible. So make sure that you're stretching, and you don't need to overdo stretching. 10 minutes a day is literally all you need. 5 minutes a day will even give you benefits. And ideally, you want to do about 10 minutes of stretching before bed or after training. So what I'll usually do is sometimes I'll stretch after training, and I'll just throw on a video and stretch and just do like 30 seconds each side, do like 10 different stretches, or I'll do it before bed. I'll do like 10 minutes of stretching while reading a book or watching a little video, and then yeah, that's it. I don't really want to go too into detail with stretching because it's not that complicated. Just find some stretches, do this, a little bit of that, do some hamstring work, some stuff for your quads, some stuff for your glutes, do some yoga poses, some, cobra, some baby poses. I don't know what they're called, horse stance. Yeah, just do that and you'll be good. Now, the last phase of recovery that we're going to go over in this video is going to be the sauna. So sauna is actually currently in my current training regime is very important because I'll train about 6 days a week. I do 3 days of sprinting, 3 days of lifting, and then 6 days of boxing. So sauna is very important for me because it really allows me to get my body back on that one recovery day I have. And there's a couple ways to use the sauna. Some people like to use it about 3 to 4 times a week for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. You can do this like after you lift or something, and it'll help with muscle soreness and whatnot. But really, what doing that does is it helps with just all-cause mortality. It lowers like all-cause mortality, all chances of getting disease. It lowers that by like 20 to 30 to 40%. It lowers it by a lot, I'm not gonna lie. It's super helpful for that. And that's one way to use the sauna. Another way to use the sauna, which I personally use, is the once per week method. This is where you go for about 60 to 90 minutes at a time. You can take breaks or you don't take breaks. Last time I just went into the sauna for an hour straight, no breaks. And what this does is it just raises your HGH. Like, there was a dude in the sauna who told me, he was telling me about like his testosterone levels. He went into the sauna, he did 90 minutes. He did 3 30-minute rounds with 10 minutes breaks in between. He went and got his testosterone checked the next day, 1100. And look, I'm not the type of dude to really care about testosterone scores. I honestly think that shit is pretty gay. I think it's pretty soy, but there's some credence. So if you want to get higher testosterone, higher HGH, try out the once per week method. And also it just saves time, because think about like the time it takes for you to go to the sauna each time. You gotta like go with a towel, then you gotta shower up afterwards and dry off and whatnot, recover from the sauna because it takes so much out of you. It's better to just do that once a week, and even though it takes a bit longer, than to do that 3 to 4 times a week, because that whole getting ready and then after the sauna care process is like, it actually ends up taking more time to do the 3 to 4 times a week than just to do the once per week. So like I said, just go for 60 to 90 minutes, go on breaks, take some breaks. You can do like 4 rounds of 15 minutes, 4 rounds of 20 minutes, 3 rounds of 20 minutes, 4 rounds of 20 minutes, 3 rounds of 30 minutes, just however you find a way to break it up. Or you can just go 60 minutes straight, 90 minutes straight, however way you want to break it up. Just go for as long as possible once a week, and you'll get the HGH benefit. Moving on to the last section, mindset. So chances are, if you're still watching this video, you fuck with me, I fuck with you, and I'm really about to get raw with you here. Anyways, so mindset. Just remember, there's a couple things you need to remember about mindset. Long-term outlook. When it comes to mindset, you want to have a long-term outlook, because look, a lot of people, they try to get jacked like, oh, I want to be jacked for spring break. Oh, I want to be jacked because it's the new year and work out for 6 months. It's like, look, a lot of people, they try to reach their goals too fast. And you need to understand, when it comes to something like fitness, when it comes to something about your physical health, you have your body for your entire life. And people try to rush the process. People are out here trying to go to the gym 6 days a week, so much so that they get burnt out after 2 weeks, and then they stop going to the gym again until 3 months, 6 months, another year rolls around, and they get that motivation again. It's like, dude, instead of trying to take like the fast route and just burn yourself out and crash out essentially, take a longer term approach, take a longer term outlook. Like, the way I look at fitness is like, I'm gonna be doing push-ups and pull-ups and running my entire life. So there's really no need for me to like overdo it. I don't try to overdo anything when it comes to my training. Like, obviously I train with intensity, I train hard, but I take a long-term approach. It's like, look, if I don't hit, if there's like a strength goal, if I want to hit like 275 on bench and I don't hit it, I don't like beat myself up and I'm like, damn, I guess I should just quit. I'm just like, damn, I didn't hit it today. I'll probably hit it next week. I'll hit it in a few weeks. I'll hit it in a month or so, because I understand that I'm in this for the long run. So I just say all that to say, make sure that you do something you can sustain. Make sure you do something that you can do for a long time, that you can really just do for your entire life, because you have your body for life. And you don't want to lose like your physical abilities as you age. That's what happens to a lot of people. They just stop going to the gym, they stop running, they stop training, and then, you know, their bodies deteriorate. They're not able to move as well, and that's what happens as people age. But if you just stay in it, if you just stay consistent, if you do something that you can sustain, whether that be going to the gym 3 days a week, whether that be running 2 days a week, gym 2 days a week, or whatever, if you just do something you can sustain, you will maintain and also gain results over the long time. So just make sure you can do something that you can sustain. The second thing when it comes to mindset is just train with intention and intensity. Remember what we were talking about with the sports? Every single training session you go into, every time you train for strength, every time you train for speed, every time you train a sport, go in with the intention to get better at something. Go in with the intention to get stronger. Go in with the intention to get faster. Go in with the intention to improve at a certain part of your sport. If it's football, go in with the intention to stay low. If it's basketball, go in with the intention to shoot better threes. If it's boxing, go in with the intention to fully extend the jab. Go in with the intention to dodge every shot. Go in with the intention and then apply intensity to that. Make sure that you're going hard as fuck, lifting hard as fuck, running hard as fuck, training hard as fuck as possible. Because when you train with intention and intensity, that's how you get real results. And that's just how you become legendary, my guy. That's how you become great. So train with intention and intensity. And then the last part of mindset, progressive overload. And I probably should have gone over this in the beginning, but it's just simple. Progressive overload. You shouldn't be doing the same weight that you did 6 months ago as you're doing now. And in 6 months, you should be doing more weight than you're doing now. You should be running faster. You should be getting better. Essentially, I say all this to say, by having this long-term outlook and doing something that you can sustain and maintain, and by training with intention and intensity, you will progressively overload, meaning that you will improve and get 1% better every single time. So just make sure that you're progressively overloading. Just do a bit more. When it comes to your strength training sessions, make sure that you're adding on more weight, adding more reps, adding more sets. When it comes to your speed, make sure that you're lowering your time, that you're running with better form, that you're running faster, that you're just getting better. When it comes to your sports, same thing. Make sure that you're improving. Make sure that you're not making the same mistakes you made last time in the last training session. Make sure you're not making those same mistakes today. Just make sure that you're constantly improving. Because when it comes to training, when it comes to getting fit, the key is progress. You don't just get big muscles, you don't just get athletic, you don't just get aesthetic by showing up and putting in the work. You do it by training with intention, training with intensity, and actually aiming to improve and get better every single time. Intention, intensity, and improvement is the key, and having that long-term outlook will get you there so that way you don't burn out and crash out. With all that being said, that's all for the video, y'all. If you want to get athletic and aesthetic and put on muscle and get lean and all that, don't forget, click the top link in the description below. I got a whole workout program I made for y'all. I even threw in some stuff about diet and recovery just to really get y'all right. And yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. Turn on post notifications so that way you know whenever I post. And yeah, let me know also in the comments anything else you want, any other type of videos you want me to make. And also stay tuned if you're subscribed in the YouTube community post. I'm gonna be posting a lot there every single day. My camera battery's about to die, but stay up, stay blessed, and stay based. I love you. Go and be legendary. Dooski.
I'm a band man, count bands, man. Off the kickstand, kill me in the trap with TK-47.